Right, so I have returned once again today to deliver another episode of Sangatsu no Line Season 2. This episode being episode 10, and alrighty, that one got me as well. So as I was saying beforehand, I have returned to actually deliver another episode of Sangatsu Season 2, and as we know, episode 9 happened to be the kind of perfect catharsis for this whole entire series as a whole so far. Because by Jingo, the dude did it. He actually got the Hina in time, actually kind of in a way tied everything together, but also being by the river. I thought, you know what? Good on you, because that was a nice way to tie everything up and actually kind of give us a nice catharsis to actually kind of see there is a nice kind of ending to this whole entire thing going on here. Though it's not ended just yet, it's still kind of a little bit more to go. We kind of see it's actually kind of a nice resolution coming. That was actually kind of a nice thing to do. I thought, you know what? Because it's kind of one of those things, it goes by the river, it's kind of tending to overcoming what's really happening to them right now. Not so fast just yet, but it's happening. I thought, you know what? Good on you, because that was a nice use of visual direction there. But anyway, so I do believe episode 10 happens to kind of, well, the first half at least centers on Junkei's character, because he happens to be a character that's very, very interesting, because he's very demonized at this moment, very antagonized, but that's all about to change. I do believe this chapter actually adapts that bit. I think it is. Right, if my screen will stop being a complete boob, there we are. Because sometimes if I want to put my Google Hangout screen in the middle of both screens, it will not do it. It'll go to one or the other. It'll be like, no, you're in the middle, okay? All right, fam, you're in the middle. But anyway, enough talk of this. Let's actually start this thing in 3, 2, 1. Let's begin this thing now. Oh man, I've been waiting for Junkei Justice. Man, Junkei Justice is the like kind of the king of justice. Dude's a fam after a while. Like he is not a good man beforehand, but now he's Junkei Justice. That's what he is now. He's Junkei Justice. Oh man, I just realized there's only one more week of this opening left, and before it changes. Oh no, I don't want to see. I don't want to see the OP go. This OP is like kind of one of the cream of the crop OPs of the whole entire year. If it goes, I'll be sad. Though Unison Square Garden is kind of like overtaking them. I was like, okay, a nice change, I think. I like Unison Square Garden, so it's all right. But I still like its opening a lot. Just for the visual direction, at least. It's a really freaking good opening. Yeah, the new one will be interesting because it's done by the people who did Kekai Sensen's opening just now, and also happens to be also what's the name of that show? And the Ballroom show as well. It is true. We kind of are heading into the real stuff going down. I think after this point, because we head into Sawyer's arc after this. All right, they've done it already. The boys have done it. The boys have done it already. The OST though, the OST. Oh man, this series already Chef done my Junkei boy justice. We are currently on 4 minutes and 1 second in. Oh, here it comes. Oh man, we didn't get the subversion of the water. They're actually doing this so goddamn well. I actually can't believe it. There we are. It's so freaking subtle. It's brilliant. I won't care what anyone says to me today. This episode's freaking brilliant. Actually, can't actually. I'm actually in awe how brilliant that actually was. Like that was absolutely outstanding. I say every single week, but it's the truth. This show does everything perfectly. They did my boy Junkei justice. That Junkei justice. It was top tier. That was. Also, can't believe they actually gave 15 minutes just to actually kind of flesh out that whole entire chapter, actually kind of make it feel so goddamn nice. It was actually that was bravo. That was bravo to my boy Junkei. And that was like 15 minutes gone so goddamn quick as well. Holy moly, this goddamn series. That is true. But still, it's just kind of nice that she just kind of get that complete arc within the space of 15 minutes. It was beautiful. It's beautiful. That Junkei justice. Though to be honest, I need a gif of the whole entire section when it's with the water. It's just so goddamn well done. Oh boy, this show. Oh boy, that was amazing. There wasn't one thing out of place in that one whole entire episode. Never is actually, but still, you know what I mean. Oh my god, that was outstanding. Even down to the point when they're just sitting there together. Oh man, that one got me. That one got me. Straight in the chest. That one did. My chest actually hurting during that last bit. I was like, Christ. Either if something's going on in my chest or I'm feeling emotion I haven't felt in quite a long time. I know what's going on here, but I need to know. Oh man. Ah. I will forever not understand how Watch Mojo didn't give us a top 10 place in the year of anime. They gave it an honorable mention. The Madmen. How would you give this show this absolutely outstandingly perfect? Absolutely outstandingly perfect. The goddamn honorable mention. Oh man. Actually, I was actually sitting here going, I want them to do Junkei section like justice because it's absolutely outstanding. How it's actually all done. It's like a character arc just in the space of 15 minutes. And it did it so goddamn well. But also kind of gave us a new meaning of the whole entire idea of the water as well. Not kind of making it always the antagonist so much anymore, which I actually kind of liked. It kind of humanized what's otherwise demonized characteristics. I don't even know the sound design. The goddamn sound design will be the greatest thing I've ever seen in my lifetime. I can already predict it. I'm actually going to start reading it again this week because I realized it's actually on volume 7 now, so I have to carry on. I have to kind of get back on it now. So it might be worth kind of. I'll get back on it this week. Don't worry. It's one of those things. It was on my agenda. As soon as I realized, oh yeah, they're on volume 7 now, I was like, yeah, I have to get back on it. So do not worry, it'll happen this week. I'll probably get to volume, hopefully 10, I think. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm on volume ahead at the moment. I'm about 10, 12 chapters ahead of the anime currently. So it's about time I should catch up again. Oh my god. So all right, this episode in a nutshell was absolutely outstanding. Like, it really freaking was, because you had the whole entire thing of you've got the events from one perspective. Like, we have the whole entire event of Nikaido's, like, kind of fall, and actually then subsequent trip to the hospital, kind of from one perspective. We haven't had it from the perspective of the other character, and now we have it. And it's actually kind of a neat thing to do, because you can actually go. I actually can't speak now. You can go for the whole entire series that really actually kind of get in Junkei's perspective and actually kind of still be okay. You won't be kind of, if you didn't know about it, at a loss. But the fact is, we got that actually kind of allows you to see a different side of it, a different side that you kind of needed to see. The kind of side that actually kind of makes you realize that not everyone's a terrible person, because it was kind of foreshadowed way back in episode freaking hell. It's before the second core. It was the episode when Ray has to go against the person with the family, and then actually subsequent wins against him, who then actually has to go out and I think doesn't actually then go back home to his family afterwards. I'm forgetting the guy's name, but it was way back then. He actually did mention that at that point there's actually a person within yourself that actually has to continue fighting, even though it means the misery for others. It was actually kind of shown in that episode in a nutshell. The whole entire thing with Nikaido kind of proves to you that shogi is kind of one of those things that you have to press forward, even if it means the misery of others. And it's kind of shown there perfectly. Junkei, up to his whole entire point, has been an antagonist, like in the last 2 episodes. But now you kind of see the fact that he was a person that's basically just trying to kind of carry on. He did not lose the place he was in currently, which actually kind of makes you realize that he's kind of not as bad as he actually is. Maybe the way he went about doing things wasn't the correct way of doing it. Though, granted, I still think he actually realized himself that what he actually kind of did, and it was actually kind of the greatest thing to do. But I actually kind of like that, because you kind of have someone who wasn't otherwise a bad person, but kind of put into the situation by no means of himself. And now we actually kind of get the whole entire idea that actually, no, he isn't this bad person. He's just kind of fighting as everyone else actually currently is. It's actually kind of then makes you realize everyone is fighting for something in their own life. It's just kind of one of those neat things. I actually kind of think the pigeon actually kind of fed it into the whole entire thing as well, which I actually kind of liked. Thought good job there as well. Oh man, it was great. It was really freaking good. Then you had the whole entire thing about the water. The water itself is kind of one of the biggest motifs of this whole entire episode, because you have the whole entire idea that the water is something to overcome, something to actually, you kind of get engulfed in, but you have to overcome it after a while. And some people actually technically do. But now you've got something else. You've got something you don't see every day when it comes to the water. It's this idea of actually plunging head first into it and actually kind of then progressing because of it. Which I actually kind of like, because it kind of, again, it humanizes what is otherwise a demonized perspective, because you have this idea that the water is an antagonist for these characters. It's something they have to overcome. It's a demon in its own way. But the fact is, you see now Rei and Nikaido just jumping headfirst into it. Makes you realize that these are two people that actually kind of are going forward. It even means they actually can. Diving headfirst into otherwise what is kind of a demonized area. And I thought, you know what, that's actually kind of good as well, because you need that, because the water's otherwise just kind of there to be this antagonist, this kind of character in its own right. Actually, you have to kind of overcome, but actually you can in theory dive headfirst into it and still progress forward, which actually kind of lends credence to the whole entire thing in opening 1, when Ray's actually kind of engulfed by the water, because you kind of get the perspective that actually maybe he's engulfed in it, because he's kind of in a way stuck there. He has to kind of get out of these. He's got something going on. But also it's this whole entire idea that he's a person that's actually trying to go forward as well in his own way, and actually the water could represent that as well. It's one of those things. It kind of gives you a new light situation you otherwise could never have beforehand with the water itself. So yeah, in that regard, this episode did a freaking good job of doing that, because it's a very subtle way of doing it. Because you don't really realize in the first viewing what the actual water technically means after that point. Like, oh yes, and that's what it means as well. Because it's one of those things that's subtle that you have to kind of re-watch it and kind of reread it a couple of times to actually kind of get it. And once you actually kind of get it, you're like, yeah, that's kind of good, because it works in the context of how the narrative is actually progressing at this whole entire point, because you've got characters who otherwise are kind of growing, and now you're getting this different perspective. The water isn't actually as bad as we actually imagined. We had a fixed perspective, which kind of actually does lend itself to the actual animation itself. The animation gives a false perspective on the water itself, technically, when you think about it, because the animation kind of realize, okay, the water is his antagonist, something they have to overcome, but actually in theory, no. So even the animators themselves are giving us like kind of one perspective idea, not just the characters. not just the characters. So in that regard, good job. So yeah, I think this actual episode did a good job of actually kind of just opening up perspectives on otherwise kind of bad situations, and now it kind of makes you realize that it wasn't as bad as we imagined it to be at first, and it's a nice stepping stone for Nikaido's character as well to actually kind of progress. He knows that one day he's going to defeat him, and it's actually kind of one of those things that Junkei now has his bird, and actually now we know he's not a bad person. So there we have that. So if that was one thing we left this show with in this episode, is that we've got this idea that now it isn't as bad as we imagined, which is actually kind of a lot of things this show does. It gives you this idea that the events that you kind of see aren't as bad as what they actually are meant to be. You get this perspective that kind of limits what you actually know, and once you actually get a different perspective, it kind of opens up what you actually interpret the actual scene as. Actually, then subsequently the actual whole entire thing, because it was actually kind of neat. They actually opened up straight away with the whole entire event. And actually, it was actually kind of neat. Also, they actually kept the motif of Junkei's character, these eyes that pierce into your soul, from last week. I actually thought it was actually kind of good because it doesn't actually kind of detract from how we actually saw him originally, but actually we kind of get a different perspective on his character, actually kind of as his whole entire characterization and subsequent character arc as a whole. It's a good job there. And actually then the second half as well. Second half really kind of makes me realize that Sunshine Boy, our boy Ray, is actually kind of this grandiose person now. Like in essence, he kind of fixed the character, which is actually one of those things you did not expect from him beforehand. Because let's face it, after this whole entire point, he's not been one of those people that actually can fix another person. In essence, it's the other way around. Sometimes people fix him instead. But actually, no, in this context, he actually fixed Hina for the better. And actually kind of made her realize that actually it's not all so bad anymore. Actually kind of allows you to realize it actually is a nice silver line in this whole entire arc. That the people you least suspect are the ones that help you the most. And the ones you actually kind of expect to help you don't actually help you sometimes as well. Especially the teachers, apparently. Goddamn teachers. But I think next week actually kind of gets subverted as well, I believe. Yeah, it's next week. It gets subverted as well, so that's actually kind of good there. But I thought it was actually kind of a neat thing because it kind of allows you to see there's actually an evident character arc going on in the background with Ray's character. Although Hina is the kind of main focal point for this whole entire arc, you've got different narratives going on which feed into each other, actually kind of allows the characters to grow. But at the same time, there's this actual like kind of very, very subtle character arc for Ray in the background, actually kind of allow him to be the character you want him to be since the start. And I thought it was actually kind of a neat thing to do because you don't ever see that very often. This idea of a very subtle character arc, and it's actually kind of a neat thing that actually in the end he helped someone. And actually, it was a person that that actually kind of helped him as well. It's a nice little thing. It kind of allows it to go full circle when you think about it. It's a nice little full circle event. So yeah, I don't know. This series is absolutely outstanding. I think. It doesn't do anything out. It doesn't do anything wrong in my eyes. It really doesn't. Every single thing it does. The visual direction in this episode is absolutely outstanding. The whole bit with the water just really proved it perfectly. It kind of just made you realize that Shaft know what they're doing. They're the probably only studio that ever could adapt this anime, and I'm glad that it was actually them that did it. Because under any other supervision, I don't think this show would be actually as good. But because it's Shaft, the visual direction, the OST implementation, it's absolutely just incredible, I must say. And the whole entire bit with Nikaido and Junkei, it was magical to watch. Just basically watching something just transpire that has so much depth to it, just by the use of OST and the use of the visuals. It was just incredible. I was like, how does Shaft do this? It's one of those things that makes you just wonder what goes on behind closed doors, those people that actually they can do all of these things and actually then kind of come out the other end like, yo, what's up? Like if it's another studio, it probably would have sunk by now. I mean, even Graphica couldn't do it for a whole entire season with Jimmy Tyson. After a while, their budget kind of sunk a bit. Because it makes you realize that, god damn it, Shaft know it. They know what they're on it. They're on it. The fans are on it. Hello, how's it going? It's one of those things that it is true. I think everyone that watches the show is actually on the same page when it comes to it. I've heard people say there have been like kind of dips in quality, and I was like, there hasn't though. I think every single episode of this whole entire point really has brought something new to the table that I actually haven't seen beforehand. Actually, kind of then subsequently developed something that's actually going on beforehand. Also, actually, the word without my throat giving out. Also, as well, it's the internet, as they say. You can't have it. You can't have it the way that you expect it sometimes. Oh man, don't worry. JoJo will be on Monday. Don't worry. Monday is JoJo Day, as I always call it now. We're gonna have that next week as well. Probably do another episode of JoJo Part 7. Do not worry. But yeah, I mean, goddamn, it's one of those things that hopefully the show gets recognition it deserves after it's actually kind of done again. I think it's one of those shows that I don't think people want to catch up with week by week. I don't know why, but it's one of those things that, well, I don't watch it week by week. I think people might want to binge watch it more than just actually kind of watch it week by week. But hopefully one day it's actually its recognition it deserves, because it needs to kind of get it. It needs it. It's a show that has everything that you need in a show, times by 10, done by Shaft. You can't go wrong at this point. It's one of those things that you have a deep characterization, you have animation that's actually absolutely just out of this goddamn universe, and you have literally goddamn everything. I don't know why no one's watching it, why no one actually kind of talks about it much more than what we're getting right now. But I do believe we're kind of getting the ending of Hina's arc in the next couple of weeks. I believe it's either next or the week after. We kind of get the ending of Hina's arc, and I do believe once we get the event adapted that's actually kind of just brings this whole entire arc to a head, it will be the best thing I've ever seen in my lifetime as well. Like, even the later arc, I've only read like half of it so far, but even the later arc, if they do it, Shaft do it, these people will ascend. They'd be like cars from JoJo. They'd be like cars from JoJo times by 10. Because goddamn it, they're actually kind of very doing. I do believe in the fact that actually will do the sound design of Soya's scene absolutely outstandingly done. But man, I just like the fact that actually in the end Ray helped someone. I thought it was one of those things, you leave the episode kind of fulfilled the fact that Ray kind of did something great. He won, but at the same time he actually fixed someone who was otherwise in a kind of a Ray die situation. It kind of allows them to actually kind of grow at the same time of growing up as someone else who's kind of got a lot of problems themselves, has actually kind of grown as time went on as well. Off everyone else as well. So actually one of those things is actually kind of a nice thing to do when you think about it. It brings everything to just kind of a nice catharsis in the end. I like saying that word now. So it's actually kind of one of those things. The arc as it progresses gives you a nice catharsis on a lot of the events that kind of transpired beforehand. As you actually kind of bring full circle a lot of what's transpiring. Also giving new perspectives on characters that otherwise would never ever be kind of shown before. So yeah. All in all, pretty freaking amazing. So yeah, next week's actually the final episode of this core, I believe, if we don't actually kind of get a break in between. I actually do believe it probably will. I do believe probably next week will actually be 10.5. So I don't think there'll be an episode next week, but I might be wrong. But I do believe they actually kind of... Is next week Christmas Eve on... Hold up. It's Christmas Eve. Is it Christmas Eve next Saturday? Or is it the day afterwards? Come on. Come on, watch. Come on, do it. You can do it. I believe in you. Do it. I believe in you, watch. Where's calendar? Don't buy Apple Watches. No, I think it's Sunday, Christmas Eve. So I do believe probably I might have the week off on that day. So yeah, I don't think we're getting another episode. I don't think there was one last year on that day either. So I don't think we're probably getting another episode next week. So was it? Wait, hold up a second. Let's consult the Crunchyrolls and see what they say. So I do believe next week's actually probably 10.5. Oh no, we did actually get 11 before 11.5. Okay. Oh, it's actually happened on my birthday as well. So we will probably get the episode anyway. So I probably might get a break next week. But I think, to be honest, I probably think it would be a nice place to end the core off now. I think if they actually have to kind of break it now, it'd be a good idea, because it needs to kind of. But then again, everything else is still continuing on next week, because Kekai Sensen finishes next week. Ancient Magus Bride next week as well. Still, I think that's it. I might be wrong. Don't worry, I will. Oh man, so yeah, if it is out next week, I will be here anyway. I think probably. So yeah, with all that said, I have indeed been the driver. If you have enjoyed this whole entire stream, are we starting it? I think it's the week after we start the next arc anyway. I think next week is the kind of the final section of Hina's arc. I think. Yeah, Next week's the follow-up section. We still haven't got the point with the teacher yet. So I think we've got a little bit more to go before we actually get there. So I think next week probably will be the final episode of Hina's arc. Which has been a nice place to end it on, I think. So yeah, if you have enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole, and you do want to leave a like, and do leave a like because indeed it does help, it does help me quite a bit. My Batman transition's happening again. I'm probably gonna take a break actually. My throat's actually starting to give out again. So I'll probably stream the rest of what I've missed today tomorrow. So do not worry. I probably might stream more of a race tomorrow as well because a race live action is actually pretty freaking good. So yeah, if you have enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole, and you do leave a like, and you do want to leave a like, then do leave a like because indeed it does help me quite a bit. If you have enjoyed what I do here and you want to stay up longer, then do leave a sub because indeed it does help me quite a bit. But until tomorrow with some stuff. See you guys then. Bye for now.